The University of Detroit Mercy presents another brand new episode of Ask the Professor, the radio show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. Today's program was recorded using Zoom video conferencing technology.
The University Tower chimes, ringing another session of Ask the Professor, the show on which you match wits with University of Detroit Mercy professors in an unrehearsed session of questions and answers. I'm your host, Matt Mayo, and let me introduce to you our panel for today. From where I'm sitting, he's on my left, it's Professor Jeff Boats.
Hey, howdy, buckaroos.
What's going on?
I just want to point out that today's episode number is a prime. Just gotta throw it out there.
Oh, that was great.
Wow.
2131.
Four-digit primes. Gotta love them.
Gotta love them. We were just talking about 31 on the last show. I was like, what a dumb number is 31.
That's one of those ages you don't get anything for turning it, you know?
So, did you just happen to know, or did you check it out just out of curiosity?
I checked it out in my head the last minute or so before we started. No, what I meant was I just did it in my head in like seconds. No, it takes me minutes.
Jeff, is there anything about your research upbringing or current research interest that involves primes?
No, I'm just a geek. It's just one of those things, you know. You're a math guy. You just sort of have an affinity for.
It's your nerd
weird
superpower. That's all. We all have one.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Totally cool. Someone who has so many nerd superpowers I can't even begin to list them all is Professor Beth Oljar.
I have nerd superpowers?
When it connects back to office equipment, you know it.
Okay. Well,
When it comes to eating brains, no one's better.
office supplies really are the best reason to be a professor, because then
No
you have to buy
question.
them all the time. It's great.
And let me
I
tell you,
said-
Beth, in a non-back to school, because I had to go buy like a printer cartridge, in a non-back to school environment during a pandemic, Staples is the place to be. Man, there was nobody there.
Ah,
One in
I got a
Clawson?
really cool stapler for Christmas, and it holds things of staples in it. It has storage for staples in the stapler and a little built-in staple remover. So I just thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that is awesome.
It also has a pencil sharpener built in, and I'm not quite sure why that seemed like an upgrade, but
Why not?
Beth, what color was the stapler?
I think it's purple. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
nice. I was getting, just for a second, a little Office Space vibe, you know, the red stapler. It's his favorite stapler and everything. But yeah, I get it. Purple's good. No, purple's good. It stands out. Says
I have logic geek powers, I suppose.
yes, absolutely you do. Absolutely you do. And that's why in the year 2021, you're angry all the time. Because no one knows how to be rational anymore.
Yeah, we
Dare I
were
say it
talking
out loud.
about that in class this morning. I'm like, guys, can we kind of run into problems, do you think, when we can't agree on what things are facts and what are not? Didn't that just cause us some fairly serious problems not too long ago? So they
Yes.
agreed. So my plan to work their fragile little minds is well on its way.
Oh my, I think fresh out of manipulating some fragile little minds is Professor Mara Livesey. Did you just come from lab, Mara?
I actually just came from my fragile little mind being manipulated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With your cats again? Jupiter's feeding time.
It was a meeting about mission and faculty life.
Oh, that's right. I saw that advertised. How'd that go?
It was very interesting.
Tell
Very
us.
moving.
Yeah. Quit with the tease.
Go on.
Yes. Go on. Yes.
We all basically have different ideas about what mission means and service and how to implement it and how to integrate it.
That's all right.
Be anything to do with these terms not having clear definitions.
Correct. And them not being clearly outlined in expectations
Of course.
and
So are they gonna,
reward
like-
systems.
I just keep on picturing you being like dropped through like
like a skylight on wires or something like that for your mission or something like that. I mean, it's like,
That is what I wrote in my annual report last year, but I need something new this year.
I'm stealing gems and jewels for the university. That's all. That's good.
Oh
I like that.
Well, Mara, I'm going to give the university a break on this one. It's only been around for about 142 years, and they just really haven't gotten around to defining those terms yet. Yeah, give it a little more time. We should be fine.
Another 140.
Professor Dan Maggio. Dan, to me, it looks like you've got something else cooking. You're kind of like looking down the end of your nose as if you're in front of like a flight simulator's worth of monitors or something.
I have a second monitor next to me. So do you ever get an email and then 3 days later you can't find the email and then you're desperate to track it down and you spend all day looking for it?
Absolutely.
That's been my day. I am convinced that I saw something come before my eyes a couple days ago and I can't for the life of me find it.
Oh dear.
Yes. So anyway,
it's crazy.
I'm doing great. Other than that, I'm doing great.
Oh, good. Excellent. Enjoying the sunshine and looking under rocks for emails.
Yeah.
I was going to make some sort of quip that wasn't too far from the truth, that what you just described happens to me at least every 1 to 2 days. That's pandemic brain right there. There's nothing you can do about that, Dan.
Some of us had that happen before the pandemic.
Yeah, I was going to say before, during, and after the pandemic, it'll still happen. So
the list of things we can blame on the pandemic seems to be endless, and that's fine. I have no problem with that.
I'm still blaming half of mine on the Spanish flu. So, I mean.
And of course, that person who is a good solid 103 years behind is Professor Dave Chow.
Pleasure to be here as always.
I mean, there was the bit from a few weeks ago with Dr. Fauci where the news reporter, who I would assume at some level is a learned and educated person, couldn't comprehend Dr. Fauci when asking him, well, whatever happened to the Spanish flu? And just very matter-of-factly, Dr. Fauci was, well, it never went away. Some of the flu that we get every year is Spanish flu. And it looked like the reporter's head had been chopped off and kicked down the street. Like, really? It's like, yeah, it becomes a part of us. That's the way epidemiology works. Just pretty fascinating here.
Yeah.
The body produces antibodies, but then the flu shifts antigens, and you don't have antibodies against that version, which is why we have to keep.
It's a lovely little war within our own bodies. That's all.
That's right. That's exactly right. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I look forward to hearing about how these coronavirus vaccines, which I'm anxious to get mine, of course, but it looks like they have about a 3 or 4 month efficacy. So we're probably going to be adding that to the old booster list, every
Speaking
fall.
of which, Matt, has your son gotten his shot yet?
No, but he's on the short list. I'm impressed by the fact that Macomb County, for some reason, has all these extra injections, in Oakland County, for a same reason, and doesn't really have a lot to go around.
I heard somewhere that they actually had 2, was it those frozen units or whatever for storing vaccine over there too? I'm like, why'd they get it?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, we have a visitor in Mara's frame there. But before we go any further about vaccination, I'd like to say this is a program you could send us questions regarding anything. If you stump the panel, you win a prize. If you don't stump the panel, you win a prize. You can send us the questions in a number of ways. You can email us at atp@udmercy.edu. Find us on Facebook and Instagram, or listen on your favorite smart speaker by asking it to play Ask the Professor at University of Detroit Mercy. Okay, we've got some questions. Hello, profs. Recently, we were doing a show and you were asking about nicknames. I thought I would turn that into, I would turn to the world of music. For these questions, you need to name the musical artists known by these nicknames. Hopefully this is easy. So 80% is passing. See, the last show, 80% was like way up there. And now it's like, this should be nothing. All right, let's crack our knuckles on a few easy ones here.
And who are these from?
I'm sorry. This is Brian Stoll of Elmira, New York. Thanks for sending these in, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's the king of pop?
Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Was.
Yeah.
Right.
Was.
He's abdicated the throne. So
where's Heather when you need her?
I saw that actually the other day, Dan. Someone was very precise in their response on Jeopardy by using the was for someone who
Mhm,
recently
yes.
passed. I was like, holy smokes, that's hardcore. Who is known as the Man in Black?
Johnny Cash
Johnny Cash.
or Jeff Boats.
Or Jeff Boats, yeah. AKA the Void, the black hole. We're going to go a little bit tougher as time goes on here. Who's the Prince of Darkness?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, sure. I mean, I also would have accepted Satan.
Yeah, but it's Satan
Bite the
musician.
heads off birds, you know.
Yeah. No, yeah. You know, it's all whatever.
There's too much light in the burning fires of hell.
Yeah.
Who's the boss?
Bruce.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce.
I just read about how he got that nickname, by the way.
What's that, Beth?
Well, when they were playing clubs, the Bruce would basically get the fee and then distribute it to the rest of the members of the band. So they started calling him the boss, you know, as in you need to see the boss if you don't have your money yet, or, you know, something like that.
That would sound, you know, that's good. You know, at least he was reputable and, you know, trustworthy. So somebody's got to handle it.
I thought that he was the first act that played the televised concert on Inauguration Day from the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. It was very stark to hear just, you know, solo guitar and voice, nobody else around but the crew. But I'm sorry, it's just the way I'm programmed. Like, he's finishing this extremely moving song and the camera just sort of pans a little bit. And Tom Hanks is standing there. And I'm like, because that happens all the time at the Lincoln Memorial.
And it's like, what's that one character that David S. Pumpkins or whatever that he does?
Oh my
It was
god.
just
the
Celebrating
SNL
America
skit.
It was
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
I thought that pretty much the entire evening was rock solid. It was entertaining for sure. Absolutely. Here's sort of a no-brainer. The king of rock and roll, Elvis, was a hero to most.
My dad hated him. I don't know why. I mean, I was like, he just didn't get into him. I was like,
It's okay.
Well, it can be a Beatles. I mean, I'm a Beatles girl and Drew's an Elvis man, and we ended up getting married. So, you know, but it seems to have worked out. Is it possible your dad is just more of a Beatles person?
I don't know. I remember he used to have it in the jukebox at his coffee shop. Whenever anybody would, you know, drop in like the nickel to play it, you know, I found this out. They actually had a kill switch behind the cash register. And he would just flip the kill switch and give you back your nickel because he hated Elvis that much.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I've always been more partial to Roy Orbison than
Amen
Elvis.
to that. Yeah.
Sure.
Good call.
How about the fact that James Brown, the late great James Brown, actually had two prominent nicknames in show business.
Ooh.
Well, the King of Soul.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Or the Godfather of Soul.
Godfather of Soul. He was also known as, because of his sweating mostly.
Ooh.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I know this one.
Wait,
I can't place
don't
it.
Tell me. They called him, if you remember, he would collapse on the stage in a pool of sweat, and someone would come and wrap him up and sort of cradle him off the stage. He was the hardest working man in show business.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Cradle him up. I'm thinking he's an egg roll? What?
When I'm back on campus, I'm going to start saying I'm the hardest working professor at UDM.
Careful, Beth. You'll get a challenge, and then what?
Melt in my own sweat right in front of you.
Oh,
how
great.
about somebody who got named after one of his very first big hits? Who's the Piano Man?
Billy Joel.
Hmm. And just for Beth, the Fab Four. I think we know that one.
The Beatles. Beatles.
Yeah. The
As they call them,
Beatles.
help.
This is a good one, though. I mean, I've heard this before, but I've never heard the background story. So I'm glad that you included it, Brian. Who was nicknamed the Lizard King?
Jim Morris.
Yeah, Jim Morrison, The Doors.
Yes.
That's
So it
from
says,
one of his poems.
Yeah, he wrote a poem called Celebration of the Lizard that first appeared in the sleeve of the Doors album, Waiting for the Sun. The poem contained the line, I am the Lizard King. I can do anything. Fans thought Morrison was referring to himself instead of another persona who Morrison created as the fictional author, so the nickname stuck. There you go.
It works.
Mm-hmm. Who's the Material Girl? At least back
Madonna.
Oh, Madonna.
Everybody grumbles.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, it's like she's kind of like
Ups and downs,
yeah. I mean, she isn't exactly aging too gracefully, I mean,
Not exactly.
Never been a big fan of her music.
no.
Whenever I hear her name now, I just imagine Robin Williams going Madonna, Madonna from the Birdcage.
Yeah, the bird.
Fosse, Fosse, Fosse.
and then
I remember that.
did
Push
she
it
also
all
have like
aside.
a famous feud with like Elton John too?
Yeah, I think
Probably.
that's true. I think that's
Yeah,
true.
I think vaguely
I
was
thought he had a feud with Eminem.
that too.
No,
But
it's
Eminem and
Elton
Elton
John.
John patched things up.
Okay.
To
But
continue
I know
with
was-
this vein, you all have brought up Madonna and Eminem and all these folks who are definitely tied to the great city of Detroit. How about one more? Who's the Queen of Soul?
Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin. Absolutely.
joy.
Who is known as Old Blue Eyes?
Frank Sinatra,
Sinatra.
of course.
Great
Lucky number
voice.
13. I got to be honest, I'm going to need some schooling on this one. I know these performers, but I've never heard them referred to as the Glimmer Twins.
Oh.
Jan and Dean. I've heard this.
Siegfried and Roy.
Oh,
Johnny and Marie?
those are Glitter Twins, Jeff.
That's a good answer.
The
I've
Glimmer
heard of this, but I don't know who it is.
Sonny and Cher.
Nope.
Not Donnie and Marie.
Nope. Two members of probably one of the top 3 or 5 rock
Oasis.
bands of all
With the
time.
Brothers.
Oh,
the-
the Rolling Stones.
Oh,
Mick Jagger
Keith and Mick Jagger. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
Mick Jagger
Yeah.
and Keith Richards
Whew.
who adopted the nickname after a vacation cruise they took with their then girlfriends. An older English couple on the ship kept asking them who they were. They refused to reveal their identities. The woman reportedly kept asking, "Can you give us a glimmer?" As in, give us a hint. And that amused them, so they said they were the Glimmer Twins.
Clever.
Yes, very clever. Very, very clever. Now, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards would be the old English couple repeatedly asking the question on the cruise. Just put it out there. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I just like to point this out, they would still be touring. That's
Yes.
the only
Probably,
thing
yeah.
that stopped them.
Well, Jim would also be on a cruise ship with them too. So
Well, it's true. That's true. They love that Danube cruise. They're on it all the time. How about the Thin White Duke?
David Bowie.
David Bowie.
David Bowie. Absolutely. Who was referred to as the coal miner's daughter?
Loretta Lynn.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, everybody knew that one. Holy
All I could
smokes.
think of was Sissy Spacek.
Yeah.
Nope,
Great
that's
movie.
the movie.
Mm-hmm. How about Queen of Disco?
Donna Summer.
Summer.
Donna Summer.
One of my
God rest her
favorite
soul.
albums.
Yep, that was a great one. A little more modern on this one. Mr. 305.
Mr. 305.
I would characterize this individual, just to be generous to the true artists out there, as more of a performer.
Weird Al Yankovic.
A musician. No,
No?
very, very recent stuff. Party music, big time into living the life, has a bald head and very big
Oh,
black
that's me.
sunglasses.
Oh, it's me.
Pitbull.
It's Pitbull. Yeah, you got it,
Okay.
Jeff.
Oh.
It's Pitbull. It's Mr. 305. Yeah.
I don't know. I
Oh,
think
that's
Dan,
right.
I think Dan gets that title.
Dan Maggio.
He says it in all of his songs.
That's right. That's
Mr.
right.
I actually know who
305.
that is, so it makes me feel good because usually I don't.
I have
still
no
think-
idea who it is.
Dan, you should just co-opt it. I think it's you. Yeah, you fit that bill better.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, I bought your album. I'm just-
Well, you're the only one, so you better hold on to it because it's going to be valuable.
couple more.
He bought it as a
professionals.
coaster, though. That's the only problem. Oh,
How about
Huh.
the purple one?
Prince.
Prince.
Yes. One of my all-time favorite Bernie memes from last week was Bernie emerging from the tub with Prince in the purple water. I was like, yeah, that's where it's at right there. And last but most certainly not least, the Queen Bee.
Beyonce.
Beyonce. Yes,
Sasha
absolutely.
Fierce.
I'm gonna say, Brian, that we kind of annihilated your list. There was really only one we had trouble with, but those were awesome. Thanks for sending them in.
Hold on, which one do we have problem with? The one where Dan was a 305?
No, Jeff ended up getting that one.
Okay, all right.
Only from the description. I've never heard of his music.
Oh,
That was one I didn't know. I think the rest of them I knew all of them. but
Probably
that
should have known that. It's like my generation.
Well,
yeah, I'm too old, so that's
I
probably
mean,
why I didn't know.
we're not gonna stereotype you that way, Mara. You don't have
Thank
to
you.
know all the stuff, you know.
I prefer oldies, so
Yeah, exactly. Like my son said, the oldies, you know, the songs from 2009.
oh,
Wow.
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
the
none of
post iPod era.
Our students don't know Motown, which is just frightening.
Tragic.
I tried.
How can you
Yeah, I tried to work it in, Beth, the other day because it was the 50-year anniversary of What's Going On, right? Being
Mhm, yeah.
Which
one of the
is-
most incredible albums ever recorded. And I tell the students all the time, there may have been others, but there certainly weren't ones as popular as Mercy, Mercy Me being one of the very first sort of environmental justice, you know, songs ever recorded.
Mhm.
And you have to listen to that song. You have to feel that, you know? Holy smokes.
I think kids today, you know, they listen to music from the 50s or 60s, and it's almost as antiquated as the Star Spangled Banner to them.
Yes.
It might as well be like Beethoven to us. I mean, to a certain degree. I mean,
No, it's true.
But
It's true.
really, should they be allowed to go their lives without listening to Aretha sing? Think. I mean,
Seriously. Sit down and watch
Well,
the Blues Brothers.
I mean, yeah, you know what is? I think for those of us in
Go ahead.
town, I think some people just take it for granted almost,
yeah, I suppose.
which is a shame. You know, it really is a shame.
Well, I was inspired when I couldn't have guessed when What's Going On was released, but I know for a fact that it was recorded in a studio, veritable feat from the campus where we teach, where we
Mhm.
used to teach every day. And it's such a point of pride to being one of the most important album. I wouldn't even call it a rock album, just an album in general. That made my day. But I can't bring that up in front of my students. I tell you that. They do not know who Marvin Gaye is, and that's a tragedy.
the greatest voices of all time.
Hmm.
I love the Detroit Lions story too. How he got, he tried to play for them till they hit him, and then that's it, I'm done. So
I can't let this chance to go by. I was that annoying guy during my postdoc while I was working mostly with undergraduates, where I was playing them a lot of Motown on purpose. Like today we're going to study, and I played, What's Going On, and several weeks later, like the album came up again. And I'm like, oh, we're doing Marvin Gaye today. And one of these younger people mentioned, is that the one where somebody shouts in the middle of the song, save the babies? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly, you get partial credit for that. That's good. Good.
oh,
that's the memorable part.
Okay,
Oh,
we've got,
Lord.
speaking of young people, this is pretty awesome. We have some trivia questions sent in by Detroit Mercy student Courtney Mather. This, if you can believe it, Professor Livesey, was due to your ask for biochem students to send in questions for extra credit, and we love you for it.
How much extra credit do you give them? I've thought about doing that, but never have.
Like 1 point.
Oh, good. I think because I'm just
as Mara's
gonna be
now giving out her
extra
own
credit
degrees.
generally,
So,
but-
Go for it, Beth. Let's see what your logic students can come up with this semester, you know?
I don't have any.
You
left.
should give them 1 point for every question that we get stumped.
Oh, that we get stumped?
oh yeah,
Well, this is a little bit all over the map, but I think she did that on purpose. She's a fun person. What is Brad Pitt's real first name?
John.
Olive Peach Pit. No.
Bradford.
Not Brad.
Balfour.
I'm
Oh.
guessing Brad is I don't know.
Is that his
Same-
middle name?
Same first name as the person who would become the monarch of the United Kingdom after Prince Charles.
King Ralph.
William.
Ralph Pitt.
Henry.
Arm. Oh,
I think that Beth said
William.
it. Yeah, it's
William.
William. It's William. Yeah. William
So-
seems just very sort of blah.
Bill Pitt.
Bill Pitt.
Ooh.
Brad is better.
Yes, much better.
I was jonesing on Bradford there for a minute, Mara. That's nice. How many Oscars has Leonardo DiCaprio actually won? He's been nominated many times, but how
One.
many has he won?
I think one
Yeah, it's one. Just
for
one.
the
Was it Wolf of Wall Street?
Was
No.
it for The Revenant? Because I remember thinking like, well,
Possibly,
that's
yeah.
not-
Or
Oh,
I
it
think
was.
I think so.
was it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Instead of for something that I liked better, like The Man in the Iron Mask. That would have
Right.
been,
Right.
yeah.
Or Who's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Mhm.
What country was Madame Curie born in?
France.
No, she wasn't born in Eastern Europe. Ukraine?
Austria?
Czechoslovakia?
Switzerland.
Her given name at birth was Maria Slodowska.
Russia?
Hungarian.
Bulgaria?
Uh,
Estonia?
Georgia.
Czechoslovakian.
Polish.
Yeah,
Estonia.
she's Polish.
Ah.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
Poland.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
we
reason have an element named polonium is because she goes, I want to name the next element we discover after my homeland. So we have
Aw.
a Poland element.
They have
Okay.
Copernicus too, which is, as names in the history of science go,
Mm-hmm.
probably a pretty good one.
Yep. And I always have to point out that my colleague, Mark Benvenuto, was sitting on the consultation committee for the naming of that element. So in some small way, he influenced, because boy, oh boy, you'll have to hear him tell the story some other time. It came down to, I believe the final element name is copernicium, to use the word Copernicus, but they also wanted Copernicum to be under, and they were debating it. And I'm like, this is pretty high level stuff here. Let me
So
tell-
theoretically, there's like a microscopic chance it could have been like Myoum.
No, I don't think
Oh.
he was into the suggesting phase. It was
Darn,
more of
okay,
the
all right.
let's make the
Okay.
final call phase.
I wasn't sure if you stood a chance there. That's all. I was hoping.
What is the densest internal organ in the human body?
The enamel on the teeth.
Brain.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I would
Organ.
have guessed
Liver.
liver.
Liver,
It's the
kidney?
liver. It says it's the liver. Yeah.
and the tastiest. Oh, oops.
Ugh,
Gross.
too bitter.
Okay, Hannibal.
Get to
Oh
the
my
fava
gosh.
beans and the Chianti later.
Bowhead whales, bowhead, B-O-W, head
Mhm.
whales have the longest what of all mammals?
Oh, match
Tongue?
game time.
Tongue, baleen.
Skull.
It is
Uh.
not anatomical. Let's
Oh.
get that out of play. right
Lifespan.
now. It is the lifespan. Yeah, they're the longest living mammals. That's right.
How long?
It
Older-
doesn't say, but man, am I going to start looking this stuff up when we're done here today. Oh,
Older than us?
Yeah, longer than humans. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I suppose I'm thinking of a tortoise. Wait, a tortoise isn't a mammal, but they live a few hundred years. So.
Yeah.
200.
What is Julius Caesar's assassination date commonly referred to as?
The
The Ides of March.
Ides of March. Beware the Ides of March.
Et tu, Brute?
It's the middle, I believe, from the Latin, right, Beth? The middle is the Ides, so it was March 15th in
15th.
popular understanding. Yeah. Mhm.
Would have been the Ides of April. Would have been perfect for tax day.
Just a couple more here. Which Harry Potter character was described in the books as having a wild and tangled beard?
It's like Hagrid.
That's Hagrid. Yes, the half giant. I almost said the giant. Oh my gosh, what have I
How
done?
could you?
What have I done?
We don't really know a lot about his background from the movie, at least. I don't know. Has anybody read the books?
I've read the books. Not a lot
Did
of
they go
background.
into his background in the books? Because
Well, we know he was a student at Hogwarts.
Vaguely
and he
mentioned
was-
somewhere that one of his parents was human, I guess, or something.
Yeah,
His dad
His
Yeah.
dad was human.
yeah.
and his mom was a giantess.
But he got kicked out of Hogwarts because they thought he had set.
He'd opened the
up
Chamber of
Aragon
Secrets.
because of the giant spider.
That's
Yeah.
right.
His wand was snapped, and he was not allowed to.
That's right.
And he couldn't get an Airbnb because he didn't have anybody vouch for him either. So
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh my lord. Oh my gosh, I can't let this go by. the middle kid is definitely getting pretty sassy. And Mara, I was talking about the fact that I know all these people who are unofficially, of course, in Ravenclaw House, including yourself and myself. And he goes, what kind of people are in Ravenclaw? And I'm like, well, the smart ones. He goes, but you told me that every house has like a positive attribute and a negative attribute. I said, yeah, we're smart, but we're kind of snotty. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So he made me go through the full list. I'm like, well, Slytherin is clever, but they're pretty much evil. Gryffindor is extremely brave, but they're kind of arrogant. And then Hufflepuff, and he chimes in, loyal, but a bunch of doofs. I was like, you get bonus credit for using the word doof in a sentence. And I said, better be careful because Nicole Nager and Jane Schley will kill you. They are proud Hufflepuffs.
Really? You got how do you get into a different house?
You can go to the Pottermore website and answer some totally ephemeral questions, and they'll put you in a house, Beth.
I took the quiz about which Harry Potter character you are, and I turned out to be Hermione, which was no surprise.
Nice.
Sure. But I didn't know they could sort you. There was a sorting hat for,
check it out. Check it out.
Yeah.
You can get a wand. You can get a Patronus. Oh.
Wow.
One more question, Professor, so we can finish Courtney's question set. And I think you know this one. Gumbo and jambalaya originate from what state?
Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, that sounds good for dinner tonight, too.
It does.
Well, we're leaning in that hardcore, only a couple weeks until, Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, Lent, and what other time of year do we not think about? Fish fries and jambalaya and gumbo. It's gonna be nice.
Fish fries. Hey, is the shrine going to have takeout?
That's a good question, Dan. That's a good question. I don't think they can turn a gift horse down, so we'll see whether they come through this year. They canceled the rest of them last year because it was too close to Easter. But I'm afraid, profs, that we're over our limit here. The time has come to say goodbye. Dave.
See ya.
Dan.
Goodbye.
Mara.
See you later.
Beth.
Bye.
And Jeff.
Laisse le bon temps rouler.
And now these words from University of Detroit Mercy. Ask the Professor is transcribed in, all of our homes, but usually it's in the Briggs Building in the Department of Communication Studies in the College of Liberal Arts and Education at University of Detroit Mercy's McNichols campus. Ask the Professor is produced and technically directed by Michael Jason and Brian Masonville, and our executive producer is Professor Jason Roach. Until next week, I'm your host, Matt Mayo.